Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Hidden Horizons channel. We're so glad you're here with us today. If you're new around here, we dive into incredible stories that explore the power of the human spirit, often with some surprising twists. Along the way, before we jump into today's captivating story, please take a quick moment to like this video if you're excited to hear more. It really helps us out. And of course, if you love these kinds of stories and want to see more, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. We also love hearing from you. So after you've watched, please share your thoughts and reactions. You know, some homes aren't built with bricks. They're built with silence, and some hearts don't just break. They freeze solid. In a sprawling minimalist mansion overlooking Silicon Valley, a man named Julian Vance lived in a world made of ice. Ever since a tragic accident took his wife a year ago, he'd locked away his heart, pouring everything into his work. It was his only escape, but he wasn't escaping alone. His daughter Lily, just 6 years old, had locked herself away. In a world without sound. She was diagnosed with selective mutism. A full year had passed, and she hadn't spoken a single word. You can imagine, Julian tried everything. Dozens of top specialists. The most advanced therapeutic AI his own company could develop. The most expensive toys money could buy. But all of it was powerless against Lily's silence, until one day, a different kind of melody entered that cold, silent house. A melody that didn't come from an algorithm, but from the heart of a stranger. Her name was Clara May. Now, Clara wasn't some renowned specialist with a list of accolades. She was once a passionate music therapist, but an unjust lawsuit, a shadow from her past, had cost her her license. The Vance family's housekeeper, Mrs. Gable, found her through a community program, holding on to just a sliver of hope. As Clara entered the house, she looked so small, carrying only a simple canvas tote bag. She gave Mrs. Gable a warm smile. "Thank you for trusting me," she said. Mrs. Gable just sighed. "Lily. The poor dear needs a friend more than another doctor. Mr. Vance is just too busy. I only hope you can bring a little light back into her life." Clara made no promises, she just watched. She saw little Lily in the corner of a vast room, a small island of loneliness. She didn't try to speak to her. Instead, she sat down at a distance, and from her bag, she pulled out an old wooden music box. The tune was gentle. It asked for nothing. Day after day, Clara would just come, sit, and play the music box. At first, Lily didn't react, but then her eyes began to follow Clara's movements. The tiny hands clutching her stuffed rabbit seemed to loosen their grip just a little. A week later, a miracle happened. Clara was sitting with Lily in Julian's high-tech home office, the very nerve center for his secret project, Project Chimera. Lily, curious, reached out and touched the music box. Clara smiled and opened it. The familiar melody played once more. And then a tiny sound, almost inaudible. It came from Lily's lips. She was humming, one note, then two. For the very first time, a flicker of light, of life, appeared in her vacant eyes. Clara froze, tears of joy welling up. But in that perfect moment, Julian stood there. His face was a mask of pure fury and paranoia. He'd just returned from a failed negotiation, and the scene before him made his blood boil. He didn't ask. He growled. "Who are you, and what the hell are you doing in my lab?" Clara jumped to her feet, instinctively shielding Lily. "Mr. Vance, I can explain. Lily was. Julian just scoffed, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "Explain? A temporary caregiver, with a toy from the last century, is in the lab that holds my billion-dollar intellectual property. Do you take me for a fool? He strode forward, his ice-cold gaze sweeping over Clara. Who sent you? How much did Nexus Dynamics pay you to get close to my daughter and steal the data for Project Chimera? Clara was stunned, her voice trembling. What are you talking about? IDN single quotes T. Get out of my house. Now, Julian roared. You're fired. Don't you ever let me see your face here again. Lily flinched at the raw fury in her father's voice. The humming stopped. She shrank back into herself, her eyes becoming empty once more. Clara looked from the raging father to the broken child. She offered no defense. She quietly placed the music box on the desk, gave a single sad nod to the horrified Mrs. Gable at the door, and walked out. The storm inside Julian had just extinguished the only spark of hope his daughter had seen in a year. That night, the house was consumed by a terrifying silence. Julian sat in his office, his anger fading, replaced by a gnawing sense of unease. Mrs. Gable quietly entered. She didn't say much. She just placed the wooden music box on his desk. Sir, she said softly, you were wrong. Miss Clara is not that kind of person. This afternoon ... For the first time in a year, Lily was humming to the music. Julian froze. He stared at the music box. And then, as if pulled by an invisible force, he went to his daughter's room. He stood outside the door ... and he heard it. His daughter's faint, broken humming. She was trying to hold on to the only melody that had reached her soul. And in that moment, as he stood in the dark hallway, everything came crashing down. The weight of his mistake, his arrogance. It was suffocating. What had he done? He hadn't just fired a nanny. He had thrown out the only person who could open the door to his daughter's world. Regret and guilt washed over him, drowning him. Julian made a terrible mistake, one that could cost him his daughter's entire world. Will he be able to find the woman he treated so cruelly? Can the melody of the heart get a chance to play again? Let us know your predictions in the comments below. Julian didn't sleep that night. The image of Clara's wounded eyes and the sound of his daughter's faint humming. It haunted him. The next morning, he did something he'd never done before. He canceled all his meetings. His only mission for the day, find Clara. But Clara was like a ghost. She didn't seek attention. She left no trail. For a man like Julian, who believed anything could be found with data and money, her disappearance was a shock. It forced him to realize some of the most valuable things can't be quantified. Finally, through an old contact, Julian found her. At a small community center, teaching music for free to underprivileged children. He saw her sitting among them, her smile so gentle. A smile he had extinguished as he walked in. The children fell silent. Clara looked up, and the smile on her face froze. She gestured for the kids to keep playing, and stepped outside with him, her expression calm, but distant. Julian began awkwardly. Clara, she cut him off, her voice flat. Mr. Vance, if you're here to ensure I won't say anything about Project Chimera, you can rest assured. I don't care about it. No, Julian said, shaking his head, his voice sincere. I'm here to apologize. I was a monster. I let my paranoia and my own pain cloud my judgment. I was wrong. You weren't wrong, Clara replied softly. You were just a father, worried about his child. Her understanding only made him feel more guilty. Please. Come back, he said, his voice pleading. Lily, she needs you. I need you. I'll pay you anything. But this time, Clara wasn't the timid woman who walked away. She looked him dead in the eye, and there was no fear, only resolve. I will come back, she said. But not for your money. I'll come back for Lily, and I have conditions. Anything. Julian said without hesitation. First, Clara said, her voice steady, I am not your employee. I am Lily's therapeutic companion. You will not interfere with my methods. Second, every single day, you will spend 1 full hour no phone. No work, just being present and playing with Lily, under my guidance. She doesn't just need a therapist, she needs a father. Can you do that? Julian was speechless. He wasn't being challenged with a business deal. He was being challenged with an emotional contract. He nodded, decisively. A new order was established. Clara brought the melody, and Julian learned to listen. He learned that connection didn't come from algorithms, but from patiently sitting on the floor, building a block tower with his daughter. But just as the ice around their hearts began to thaw, a sleek sedan pulled up. Mr. and Mrs. Sinclair, his late wife's parents, stood at the door. Their faces were grim. They brought a lawyer. The lawyer handed Julian a folder. Mr. Vance, he stated coldly, this is a petition to grant our clients full custody of their granddaughter, Lily Vance, on the grounds that you are an unfit parent who is leaving the child under the influence of an unlicensed individual with a questionable professional history. Julian stood frozen. The Sinclairs' gaze shot daggers at Clara. The real storm had just begun. Their fragile, healing family was now facing a legal tsunami aimed at their weakest point. Clara, is the new trust between Julian and Clara strong enough to withstand this storm? Will Clara's past destroy everything? Stay tuned to find out. The Sinclairs' accusation was a knife to the heart. They didn't just want Lily. They wanted to destroy Clara. They had dug into her past, finding the incident that led to her license being revoked. That night, Julian told Clara, they're going to use this against you. They'll say you're unstable. Clara sat silently, her hands clenched. Maybe they're right, she whispered. Maybe I'm not good enough. Julian put the legal documents down, looked her in the eye, and his voice was firm. No, I doubted you once. That was the biggest mistake of my life. I won't make it again. I have seen what you do for Lily. That isn't something a degree can measure. We will fight this, together. For the first time, Clara saw a completely different Julian. Not a cold CEO, a protector. Their fight wasn't about money. It was about truth and love. Julian used his resources not to attack, but to build a fortress of evidence of his daughter's healing. At the custody hearing, the tension was palpable. The Sinclair's lawyer was relentless. She has no valid license. She was forced to quit after a serious incident. Entrusting a traumatized child to her is an act of gross negligence. When it was Julian's turn, he didn't say much. He just played a video. On the screen, Lily was laughing. Genuinely laughing as Clara strummed a cheerful tune. The room fell silent. Even the Sinclairs were stunned. They had never heard their granddaughter laugh like that. Julian spoke, his voice calm but powerful. My daughter was silent for a full year. You can have all the degrees in the world, but you couldn't bring back her laughter. Clara did. She used patience, empathy, and love. If that is incompetence, then I don't want anyone else who is competent. The judge turned to Clara. Do you wish to say anything, Miss May? Clara stepped forward, her voice soft but clear. Your Honor, I'm not here to defend my past. I am only here for Lily. Trauma cannot be reasoned with. It can only be soothed by connection. Lily's language wasn't words, it was silence, and I simply learned how to listen to that silence. And then something happened, something no one in that room could have predicted. Little Lily, who had been sitting quietly, stood up. All eyes were on her. The room was dead silent. And then, a small, clear voice cut through the tension. Daddy. Clara. 2 words, just 2 words, and the entire battle was over. Julian and Clara turned to her, their eyes filled with tears. The judge removed her glasses and smiled. They won. Not with sharp legal arguments, but with the simplest truth of all. Love has the power to heal. But is this legal victory enough to bring two wounded hearts together for good? A new chapter is about to begin. Are you excited? After the hearing, life in the mansion changed completely. The silence was replaced by Lily's laughter, Clara's music, and Julian's clumsy but warm conversations. He was learning to be a real father. One evening at sunset, the three of them were planting a small rose bush. Lily chattered away. "This flower's name is Clara, Daddy. And the big tree next to it is Daddy Julian." Julian laughed, a genuinely happy laugh. He looked at Clara, his eyes filled with gratitude and something much deeper. "Thank you," he said, "for everything." Clara just smiled back. "I should be thanking you for believing in me." The distance between them was gone. They had become a family. That night, Julian got an email. The therapy board, after hearing their story, sent a letter of apology to Clara, offering to reinstate her license. "You can have your career back," he told her. Clara read the letter, but her expression was serene. "The place where I belong. It's not there anymore," she said softly. "I've found a new purpose right here." Later, after Lily was asleep, Julian led Clara to his office. On his screens was a new blueprint, the Lily Vance Center for Technology and Empathy. He explained, "My technology is powerful, but it's soulless. Your empathy has the power to heal, but it can only reach a few. What if we combined them? A place for children like Lily." Clara was speechless. "But this project," Julian continued, "it's missing a co-founder. Someone to lead its heart. I'm not just asking you to be a business partner, Clara." He got down on one knee, but he wasn't holding a ring. He was holding a small silver locket, engraved with a music note intertwined with a microchip. "I built an empire with my mind," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "Now, I want to build a family with you, with my heart. Clara, will you marry me, be a mother to Lily, and join me in creating healing melodies for the world?" Clara burst into tears of pure happiness. She nodded again and again. "Yes, I will." Sometime later, on a beautiful sunny day, Julian, Clara, and Lily were flying a kite on the lawn. Their laughter echoed in the air. The small rosebush they had planted was now in full, glorious bloom. The old wooden music box sat on a small table nearby, a silent witness to their journey. From the broken pieces of grief, a family was mended. From the silence of trauma, a melody of love arose. The story of Julian, Clara, and Lily reminds us that sometimes the greatest miracles aren't found in faraway places, but in the patience to listen, the courage to trust, and the grace to love again. The three of them embraced, bathed in the warm light of the setting sun. Thank you for joining us for this story. If it has touched your heart, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more moving stories. Goodbye and see you next time.